What's good, you marks? This is NWO Kai back with another video. So I'm not the only one who subjugated himself to watching that god-awful Monday Night Raw that was branded Stranger Things. Honestly, that Raw itself is a Stranger Thing. Or at least the thing that's strange about Monday Night Raw besides the terrible show, we was teased Chris Jericho, quote unquote teased in air quotes. I'm gonna get into that in a sec, but before I do, make sure you like and subscribe to the video. Now, Chris Jericho has been absent from AEW for quite some time. And recently there was rumors about him going to WWE, especially Sunday evening where Adam Pearce posted a video pretty much teased Chris Jericho by saying who's going to break the walls down. And you know whose catchphrase that is. And with that had the wrestling community online just going crazy because people really just said, all right, this nigga really is coming back, because it was blatant at this point. You said the man's catchphrase, so I'm thinking, okay, let's drop the act. They not even playing no more. This man actually coming back. Especially since the Royal Rumble is down the corner and they hyped up the January 5th episode of Monday Night Raw. So you thinking maybe he is going to be coming back. Watched throughout the entire show and saw no Chris Jericho. Then the main event happened and I was like, okay, maybe he might get involved during the main event, or maybe he might come out after the main event and have a stare down with CM Punk. But before that, I was actually thinking maybe he might get a program with Gunther. But no sirree. A Monday Night Raw without Chris Jericho. I mean, not that I give a fuck, but it's just me. If you haven't seen my last video, I just think it's the right move for Chris Jericho to go back to WWE, because the AEW crowd pretty much turned on him after the Kylie Ray accusations, and as well they were just getting pretty much tired of just seeing him on television. I remember that time too, because that was a couple days after World's End, where I can't remember which wrestling journalist, like Chris Jericho, there was like something happened on Twitter where Chris Jericho made a tweet that he said he never made anyone sign an NDA in his life. Then some wrestling journalist said, what about the NDA she made other people sign? And then Kylie Ray had co-signed that tweet. For those who are not familiar with the accusations of Kylie Ray, apparently, well, allegedly, because the wrestling journalist, and I'm not going to bother to even look up who it was. I honestly don't remember who it was, but I'm just going to put wrestling journalist in air quotes, because the dude actually did recant his statement afterwards, backtracked a little bit afterwards, the fact, because I guess he didn't want to get sued by Jericho. But yeah, allegedly the word on the street was that someone told Kylie to go to Chris Jericho's locker room, and pretty much she had a very uncomfortable and awkward interaction with Jericho, and she pretty much signed the NDA and quietly left All Elite Wrestling after the fact, which I thought was pretty weird afterwards. But allegedly this was kept under wraps because AEW was still new at the time. And there's even footage of not too long after Kylie Ray left AEW where someone asked Tony Khan at a post-show conference about what happened between AEW and for Kylie Ray to part ways, in which the con man gave an answer, kind of a half-hearted answer, but either way, question did make him stumble on his words. So we will never probably know what actually happened for Kylie Ray to leave AEW. And I'm not defending Chris Jericho at all. Maybe he was trying to actually crack and he probably just made her feel uncomfortable. It was swept under the rug because AEW was still new at the time and they didn't want no crazy ass scandal to come out, allegedly. But also too, I'm not going to summarize too much of Jericho's career because I have a whole video about how I feel about the rumors of him leaving AEW to go to WWE. I think it's time. I feel like some of the appreciation, pun intended, because he had a whole clip called the Appreciation Society, which no one got over in. But I just feel like some of that shit was kind of forced, especially like with the people singing his theme song in the crowds when AEW had big crowds. Sorry, I'm just playing, y'all. I'm sorry, my AEW fans. I'm just playing. As Jericho's time in AEW went on, I just felt like the more stuff he was doing was just kind of trash, cringe, and it just didn't translate well on television. Still say his feud with Orange Cassidy was one of the blow off match was one of the dumbest shit I ever saw in professional wrestling. And honestly, no one really benefited for working with Jericho in AEW. Yeah, I understand that his presence being there at the beginning, it really helped AEW get seen by the larger wrestling fan base. Back when Jericho was still kind of cool as fuck. Because that shit was cool when he just popped up in New Japan and was beefing with Kenny Omega. That shit was kind of cool. But the question is he still returning to WWE, or is he still with AEW? Because apparently Jericho is still listed on their at the roster page on AEW's website, but reportedly his contract ran out a couple of days ago, and the Alan Pierce announcement makes me really think that he locked in and signed with WWE. Because why the hell would they say the man catchphrase if they're not going to have him return? Unless it's going to be at the Royal Rumble or shit, maybe SmackDown later on this week. We don't know. I just think it's funny how like all the dirt sheets picked up on all that when Jericho was returning, and then when he didn't return, it made all of us look stupid, because I know I felt dumb as hell when he didn't pop up on Raw. I was like, damn, bro, I literally just dropped the video talking about him popping back up in Monday Night Raw, and he's not there. What the fuck? Yeah, we got worked. But honestly, I kind of dig still in this day of age getting worked like this. Even though I'm pretty sure those 3,000 extra tickets that was sold the last minute for Monday Night Raw, I know they was feeling some type of way, because I'm pretty sure they was anticipating Jericho too. Kind of interesting that he didn't show up, like I said, especially after saying the man catchphrase. So maybe he will show up on SmackDown, or maybe he's actually going to be at the Royal Rumble, which is going to be in Saudi Arabia, but that's a story for another video. How I feel about that. It was reported a while back that it was going to be hard to do surprises at the Royal Rumble, flying everyone in. So if he doesn't show up on Raw or SmackDown leading up to the Royal Rumble, maybe he'll pop up at the Rumble. But like I said, it's going to be hard to do that. So yeah, this is just one big ass mystery. I'm cool with Chris Jericho returning to WWE. Shit, he's 55. He should be thinking about retirement. And I know WWE, if he doesn't get jogged out to Gunther on his last match, we'll have a straight retirement tour. Maybe if they learned they left John Cena's run, that shit was horrible. No way around that shit. I'm pretty sure Chris Jericho would like to preserve his legacy, because I think at this point, if he were to stay in AEW, I don't give a fuck how big that bag is. It's just going to just tarnish shit even more, because like I said, a lot of the shit he been doing in AEW was just trash and cringe, even though I feel like he did a great job helping the company get his name out there when the company was starting. But I just think it's time to go. Honestly, a man like Chris Jericho, who has the career that he has, deserves for it not to be ruined by bullshit, and he should be able to go out with one big ass bang. But yeah, what do y'all think about Chris Jericho not popping up on Raw? Do you think that he's still signed to AEW, or WWE are just gonna have him return at a later time? Get busy in the comment. That's all, folks.